Good morning, young ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to have you coming back. We're almost to the end of our week, and woohoo! Almost there to the summer. Yay! Okay, so let's go ahead and do our warm-up today. Let's see what our first problem is. It's an equation that says we're going to add 254 and 347 more to that. Now remember, when we're adding two amounts, in this case it's two amounts, we could add as many numbers as we wanted to, we are going to find the sum. Everybody remember that? Sum. The sum is when we take amounts and we put them all together to combine it into one larger amount. So we're going to take this part, which is 254, and we're going to take the other part, which is 347, and when we put those two parts together, we're going to get a total amount, which is going to be called our sum. So we want the total amount. So we have 7 and 4 more, and if you remember, 7 and 3 more makes 10, so those are your automatic tens of 7 and 3, 8 and 2, 9 and 1, 6 and 4, 7 and 3 is one of those tens. So 7 and 4 makes 11. That 1 stays in the ones place, and that 10 gets regrouped right here into my tens. So now I have 4 tens, which is 40, 5 tens, which is 50, and one more that I regrouped here, which would be 10. So 40 plus 50 is 90, plus one more 10. Oh, I made a new 100. So that means I don't have any tens here, but because I regrouped them all to make a new 100. So I have 3 hundreds, 2 hundreds, and one more 100. So 3 hundreds and 2 hundreds is 5 hundreds, plus one more 100 is 600. Excuse me, 601. So my sum is 601. I could also use it by taking apart my hundreds, then my tens, then my ones, and then I could add them in any order that I wanted to. So 200 plus 300 is 500. 50 plus 40 is 90. And 4 plus 7 is 11. Now, this 10 was regrouped right here into this tens place. Well, I'm still going to do that, except it's now separated from those tens into here, into these ones. So we have 1, we have 90 and one more 10 is 100. So I'm going to regroup that 100 right here. And now I have 500 and 100 makes 600. So I have 601, which is the same thing I got up here. So they should match. Now, if I were going to write a subtraction sentence to check my work, and that's what your discussion question is today, you actually have two possible subtraction sentences that you could write. Remember, your total is 601. I want you to write a subtraction sentence for me that you could use to check this addition sentence. Okay? Remember that your total is 601. All right, let's take a look at our word problem for today. It's a perimeter problem because it says Blake is fencing a rectangular dog pen. That means he's going around the edge of a rectangle, right? Means find the length of all the sides, right? Find the length of all the sides. Blake is fencing a rectangular dog pen. 2 of the sides are 67 feet, and the other 2 sides are 41 feet. How many feet of fencing will Blake need? So they're giving us the sides. So I'm just going to go over here to the side, and I'm going to draw myself what this might look like. Actually, let's go to the back. That gives me much more room and makes it easier for me to show my work. So I'm going to show my work. I'm going to draw my dog pen. We know that. And since I don't have grid paper, I'm just going to use what I know about the lengths. So we have 47, right? And 47, and I believe it's 61 and 61. So we're looking for the perimeter. The perimeter is the distance around this shape. So the length of all the sides. Perimeter is the length of all the sides put together. And again, we're finding a sum. I just want to check. Oh, no, I've got these backwards. So it's 47 or 67 and 41. Now that shouldn't make a difference with our ones place because still adding 7 and 7 and 1 and 1. So, but for the picture itself or for the model itself, we want to keep it consistent. All right, so I'm going to take 67 plus 67 and 41 plus 41, right? And I'm going to add these two sides first. So I know that 67 and 67, well, 7 and 7 is 14, and 60 and 60 is 120. And when I add those together, I get 134. So I'm just going to put this here underneath 134. And remember, this could also be two groups of 67. I have 41 and 41. 1 and 1 is 2. And 40 and 40 is 80. So that's 82. And again, this could be two groups of 41, since those two sides are the same. And now I can just take and add those two amounts from this side to this side and this side to this side together. So we want the whole perimeter around the fence or around the dog pen. All right, so I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to put this as an algorithm. So I'm going to place it into columns of ones, tens, and hundreds. So my ones are the 4 and the 2, which makes 6. My tens are the 80 and 30. So 80 plus one more 10 is 90, plus one more 10 is 100, plus one more 10 is 110. That means I have 110 that stays in the tens place and a new 100 that gets regrouped. And then I have 100 plus 100 is 200. So this is going to be a perimeter of 216. Now, what is my unit of measurement? Remember, we're not looking for our yards. We're not looking for area, so it's not going to be square units. It's going to be length, which is feet in this case, because it said this is 67 feet and 41 feet. Now, if I wanted to know the area of this figure, I could take this 67 and multiply it by 41, and I would get my area. Now, this is not this year's skill, but next year's skill, you should be able to do this in 4th grade. So knowing this information about how to find the area, because you would have 41 rows, and then you'd have 67 squares in each row. So you'd have 41 rows with 67 squares in each row. And so knowing this is going to help you for next year when you have to find your area of rectangular or square figures. Okay? So keep that in mind. This is not going to be something that you just do one time. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem. It says Jennifer jumped over 9 rocks, and she jumped over each rock 9 times. So here's a rock. Let's pretend that she has a rock here, and she jumps over it 9 times. Well, then she has another rock, and she jumps over this rock 9 times. And then she jumps over another rock, and she jumps over it 9 times. And if we continue that pattern, we should have 9 groups of 9, right? 9 groups of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I'll squeeze one more over here, which will be 9. 9 groups of 9. Now remember, I can always use what I know about taking this apart and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 9. And then I could also do 4 groups of 9. Or I could do 10 groups of 9 and then take 9 away. That might be an easy way to think about it also. Do 10 times 9, which is 90, and then subtract 9. So that's also something to think about. So 9 times 5 is 45, and 4 times 9 is 36, and hopefully we have these memorized by now because you're going to need them next year. 40 and 30 is 70, and 5 and 6 is 11, and so that gives us 81. So 9 times 9 is 81, and so when I multiply 9 groups of 9, 9 groups of 9 is 81. All right, let's take a look at our next problem. It says, complete the related multiplication facts. We're going to take 8 objects. We're going to use our division to help us find this missing factor because this factor is shown right here. The missing factor is our quotient. So if I take 4 groups and I put them share equally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how many objects do I get in each group? Right, I get 2. So 4 times 2, is going to be 8. So again, remember, multiplication is related to division. Remember, they are not equivalent to each other. They're just related to each other. Okay? Related to one another. Now, let's take this 12 divided by 3. So if I have 3 groups, and I want to take these 12 objects and share them equally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and finally 12. I get 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. My missing factor is going to be 4. So that means my quotient was 4. And when I look at this as a related multiplication fact, remember your total objects, we're going to use those total objects and break them back up. So here we're looking for the total objects. When we're dividing, we're breaking up those objects back into their groups and finding how many is in each group. All right, let's do the same thing with 72 divided by 9, but this time I'm going to count by multiples of 9. So up to 72, I've got 9, 18, 27. So remember, look at what's happening at this tens place. There's 10, 20. This is going to be 36. There's that 30, 45. There's 40. And remember, when you're looking at those numbers, we're going to now take and reverse those. We have 54. We're going to take and do 63. And finally, there's one more, and we're going to do 72. Now, notice your tens place, 50, 60, 70. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Now look at your ones place, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So there's a pattern in there. So double check and make sure you understand how that pattern works. Now remember also, another clue is when you take these digits and put them together, that 1 and that 8 makes a 9. That 2 and that 7 makes a 9. That 3 and that 6 makes a 9. That 4 and that 5 makes a 9. And this pattern should continue up to 10 times 9. So think about that as also another way to think about that pattern. So how many groups of 9 did it take me to get to 72? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9 groups of 8 will give me my total, which is 72. All right, guys, don't forget to go back and write a subtraction sentence for me for this sum to show how you would check it using subtraction. And I will see you in our live meeting today. Have a great day, guys. And it's Tuesday.